The Bills made an offer to Gronkowski, who could have been on the market. Imagine the Buffalo Bills with Gronk going back home to Buffalo, New York. That would have been insanity.
I mean, that would have been an awesome story, I guess, but how much more would they have had to pay him? He's getting, 1 year, 10 from Tampa Bay. Would they have to double that, you think, to get him there?
I'm not sure. He told Kyle Brandt in the 10 Questions episode he was on that he's going to do 1 year deals from here on out. He said he's going to dip his toes into free agency, that whole thing. But when you hear like Buffalo was offering him his hometown, it's like you don't think Gronk is ever going to leave Tom Brady. He came out of retirement to play with Tom Brady. He was going to retire if he wanted to play in Detroit. Now, if that wasn't Detroit and that was another team that was potentially good, would that same thing would have happened? We will never know. But everybody thought Gronk was going to be locked in to Tampa Bay. Then Ninkovich comes out and he's like, hey, look for Gronk to potentially hit the free agency. And then we're like, holy shit, if Gronk is a free agent, that's going to be somebody you want. And then Buffalo did the same thing. They were like, maybe we get him up here. I mean, he said we can bring him home. We'll have Bill's Mafia, the Gronkowski family. We'll have their own section. The Gronks will do the whole. We'll do this. Him on that offense with Diggs and Josh Allen, which wherever he's going to head to. I mean, that team would have been fantastic. But Gronk's back for $10 million in Tampa.
Well, don't you think the Bills are? I think it's a no-brainer for them to try to get Gronk there. Like, you know the amount of tickets that he's going to easily sell, which they don't really need a whole lot of help. The Bills Mafia is pretty strong, but it's like, hey, bringing him home, he obviously can still play. He's like one of the most recognizable players in the league, too. So I would have made an offer, too, if I was the Bills.
Me, too. If I was any team, by the way, I'm making an offer to Gronkowski.
But at least the Bills, you could sell it. Hey, the only thing that could possibly pry you away from Tom Brady is, hey, come back home. Let's come do this. You've never really gotten a chance to play in front of all your boys, like all your people from your high school. Like that could have been a good recruiting little.
Now, and if you're Pittsburgh, you could say the same thing, by the way, because he did go to high school in Pittsburgh as well, his actual senior year after he was expelled from his high school in Buffalo. He came down to Woody High, which is a incredible high school football program. But that is, like, if you're the Colts, now Chris Ballard is doing his own thing, but hey, you get Gronkowski on this Colts. How about the Patriots, by the way, with Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, and then Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, and Julian Edelman. And in the backfield, they're getting another running back, allegedly, maybe Phillip Lindsay, and also, who's the running back? Damian Harris back there. It's like, what just happened? What just happened? They just built a very solid, very, very, very good starting skill position group overnight. Literally overnight, they're like, well, fuck it, we'll just buy it. Let's go, bang, bang, boom, boom, boom. This is what we want. It's insane to think about what they did. I'm surprised more teams aren't doing the same damn thing. You know what I mean?
I mean, if you have the room, yeah, you would think people would want to try to do this, but I don't know. I guess if it doesn't work out, what does this do to Belichick? Like, do you care about the whole stupid legacy talk and all of that?
If it doesn't work,
yeah,
I'll just sail into the sunset. He'll disappear for a year or two, and then.
But does it tarnish anything? Does it like reinforce the fact that, hey, Belichick can't win without Tom?
Listen, I'm going to be, I ain't no bullshitter, all right? So I'm going to say that when it happens, if they do bad, we will all react accordingly about how it is a tarnish and blah, 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 blah. Then we will all quickly realize a couple years down the road that the only thing we'll say is, do you remember what Bill Belichick did over there? 20 years, blah, blah. Only the bangers will survive. So if this thing completely goes off the tracks, although we have to react live and in the current moment how we feel about it, long term though, if this doesn't work, nobody will say a fucking thing about it because of all the credibility in the resume that he already has. Now, the ultimate haters, I guess, will say, well, there was this and this, but they're always going to say that. I think the general conversation about Bill, if this does not work, long term will be about everything that good happened, not the bad, I don't think.